matters really of social development here, because we've got the Achievers Walk to honor lawyer as well as political activist Tiego Moseneke. It is back. It's taking place in Atteridgeville in Pretoria next weekend. Now, Moseneke passed away in April this year.
The theme for this year's walk is Be Good, Do Good. And we are joined now by Moseneke's widow, Kokezo, who is the founder of the Supreme Cadets Institute. Kokezo, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us on the South African Morning. Just talk to us about, let's just get right into it, what we can expect with the Achievers Walk, of course, happening next weekend.
Well, you can expect, well, thank you very much for having me, both yourself and Faith. You can expect fun, you can expect excellence, you can expect display of achievement, you can expect the children will be motivated. We are expecting people to come from all walks of life, in and around Atteridgeville, in and around the country, to come and motivate children to study, to be good, to do good, to make positive changes.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about Sorry about that, Kokezo. We seem to have missed you for a second. You can continue in terms of exactly what we can expect.
Okay. So the reason we're not calling it graduation walk, rather Achievers Walk, is because we're saying to kids, you can achieve in any way you choose. It is not so that all of us are going to end up with PhDs, but there are scientists, there are artists, there are musicians. We have children who are really gifted in writing. They are authors. We have children who do not necessarily want to go to varsity, but they are entrepreneurs. So we are saying that we want to recognize achievement in all aspects, as long as it is positive.
So let's talk a little bit about it and take you back to the beginning. The Supreme Cadets Institute. What is it all about? What does it aim to do? And I know that this year it will be in honor of the late Tiego Moseneke, and who, of course, was your husband. But let's talk a little bit about it. The founding of SCI, what was it all about? What is its intention within the South African context?
Faith, back in 2014, I started working with teenage mothers, together with my sister-in-law, now late Meriki. We thought that we would motivate young mothers in high schools. As you know, statistics are such that we have children that fall pregnant between the ages of 10 and 17. So we thought that we would motivate children to remain positive, to remain in school. But when we reflected, we thought by the time they fall pregnant, you might have missed the boat. So we started with primary schools and said, let us create a platform for children where they can belong in a space which occupies their time with positive things. So we started by recruiting children in primary schools from grade 6, and we then used unemployed young people. These are graduates, these are post-matriculants. They are then our rangers. So they actually get their stipend and they get vocational training while they are mentoring young people in high school, in primary schools. So this is how it works. We have the unemployed youth who are mentoring young pupils in primary and high school. They teach them values. Okay, so our children, for example, have a pledge on how to be positive, how to be respectful, how to respect themselves, their bodies. These children then stay on up until they get to matric and finish, and some of them come back as what we call ranger assistants. So the whole program is really a cycle of positive on positive.
What kind of effect have you seen it make? I mean, I'm listening to you speak, Kokezo, and I'm listening, and what I'm hearing is you're essentially saying, you know, peers must learn from each other. Peers must take inspiration from each other. You know, I mean, it's all good and well for an adult to come in and impart some kind of wisdom because they've lived life, but there is nothing wrong in a 22, 23-year-old who's graduated, you know, imparting whatever wisdom they can on a 12-year-old who's in grade 6. So what kind of impact have you seen where young adults who themselves are still trying to chart their own paths, you know, sharing whatever knowledge and experience they have with the much younger ones?
It is more real for them. So, I found that there is a generational gap between myself and what we call patrons, the adults that try and mentor children. There's a huge generational gap. But when you have high school children who have just gone through that stage of being teenagers, of being young, speak to others who are saying, we've just been there. It's not so removed. It's not a pie in the sky. I speak to these children because I understand when children say, we walk to school, we have been hungry. I have walked to school. As a young girl myself, I used to go to school in Mabatu High School, and I stayed in Muntiwa in the township. We used to walk sometimes 8-10 kilometers to try and get to school. But something, they look at me and they think, but you are mom of old. But when they speak to teenagers or to young adults who have just been there, it is more impactful. And this is something that I did, yes, with my late husband. He was a patron. He funded this movement from the time that we started it. We have other pillars in society. By the way, we have people from the SAPS. We have Mapula Rekhoto, who's our coordinator in the SAPS. We have Jane, who's a former principal, who assists us. We have funders like, well, I hope we get more funders, but at the moment, we have Miles Nzama, who has been a gift, who's Tiego's childhood friend, who has continued to give, and together with him, we have built classrooms in Atteridgeville. We have my own sister, Dr. Lerato, who has been extremely generous. But those are the only two funders that we have had so far. There is so much to do. There is so little to give. We hope that people will come and form partnerships with us so that we can have greater impact. There's a need. Faith and Morena, there are 50 children in classrooms in townships with one teacher. Many children are bound to fall through the cracks. Our rangers arrange for tutoring for these children to give them post-school time support. There's hardly any sport going on in schools. What we do is that our children spend from 7 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock in the afternoon every Saturday without fail at our meetings, at our cadet meetings. They do academic support, we do sports support, we do mental support. So there's a lot that is happening, but it is run by young people that we are mentoring to mentor others, to pass on the baton. That's what it is about.
It really does sound, I just pause it there, it does sound like an absolutely superb initiative. And more than anything else, I love the call that you're making, saying that we need more sponsors, funders, partners who are able to get on board on this initiative, because ultimately it's about changing the young person's lives. We need more institutions that are existing to change people's lives. We have to leave it there. But of course, if you want to get in touch with them, it is happening on the 24th of June, 2023. It is in Atteridgeville, actually, at the Mbulekwa Sports Complex. If you want to join in and come and see some good news there. Supreme Cadets Institute. Young people really making a difference there. Tiego Moseneke this morning joining us, who's actually the founder of this institution, saying there's a way of us being able to help young people, especially Youth Month. Hey, it's Youth Month. There's a way of helping young people so that they can indeed achieve their highest and their most fullest potential.